This is the second season of Ted Lasso. The American football teacher Ted Lasso is back to coach football in England, which is a totally different sport. Soccer is what Americans call it. AFC Richmond has a great team culture because of Ted's painfully contagious happy attitude, but they lost last season and were kicked out of the Premier League. Now they're trying to win their way back into the Premier League when one of their best players, Denny Rojas, goes for a penalty kick and accidentally kills the team mascot. There is a problem right away, and Denny is really upset. He used to say that football was his whole life, but now he says that football is death. So they bring in Dr. Sharon, who is a great sports therapist and helps me a lot. The whole team really likes her, so they keep her on for the rest of the season. Ted tries to win her over by being as friendly as he always is, but Sharon takes things very seriously. She isn't. Leslie Higgins, who is in charge of the team's operations, gives Dr. Sharon a job in his office. This becomes a running joke for the rest of the season. Now, Jamie Tart, the douchebag ball hog, was Richmond's best player. He went to the enemy team last season, but now he's been kicked off because he broke his contract to go on a dating show. And that's fine with him, because what he really wants is to go back to Richmond, where Ted Lasso really started to get through to him last season. But his fellow players don't welcome him with open arms because he was kind of. Roy Kent, the other best player for Richmond, had to finally quit last season. Now, he coaches the football team for his niece and is happy with his girlfriend, Keely. But Keely can tell that he misses the game, so he gets him to try being a sportscaster, which is not a good idea because every word he says is a swear word. People like it turns out. He has a lot of fans. Keely works for the team as their marketing manager. She works with Dubai Air to set up a great sponsorship deal with star players, Sam Bisnia. But he finds out that the parent business of Dubai Air is making Nigeria very dirty. So Sam takes a stand and blacks out the sponsor on his shirt. The rest of the team, including Jamie Tarr, says, "Yeah, man, we've got your back." So, since Richmond is not going to fly on Dubai Air, they will soon have a new sponsor. The hook of the dating app conversation is that there are no pictures, so you can just talk to meet. And the owner of the team, Rebecca Wilton, is interested in a riddle. Man, Sam also has a great partner. And it's so funny that we're both here on dates. Soon, they figure out that they've been talking, which is a bit weird since they're not the same age and she's been used. They plan to have dinner as just friends, but they really like each other and don't want to be just friends. They will find out where this goes later. Sam gets a visit from a millionaire from Africa who wants to sign him up for his all-African soccer team, which would be the dream. Rebecca's like, "I like you, Sam, but please don't worry about me. Do what you think is best." But Sam agrees that he wants to be with Stan in Richmond. Oh, and this guy is not happy about it. Since Richmond hasn't won yet, Isaac, the new captain of the team, is starting to feel the heat. Ted gets help from Roy Cantu, who used to be the team captain. Have Isaac play a friendly game on the street to show him that football is meant to be fun. Ted uses famous lines from romantic comedies to try to get Roy to train with him, but Roy isn't interested until he sees that's exactly what he wants to do, at which point he quits the radio show and runs over there. And the rom-com match keeps going. I was hooked by Hello, Coach. Roy Kent is back at AFC Richmond, which is great, except for Nathan Shelley, who is the other new coach. Last season, he was just a humble towel boy, but Ted saw that he was good at football strategy and hired him, but he's starting to get too big for his britches. He picks on the new towel the whole season. Nate is trying to learn how to be more confident, but he takes advice the wrong way and starts spitting on things to get himself pumped up. Roy's cancer turn also causes problems between him and his main rival, Jamie Tart, but Roy has some good tips for Jamie. Jamie learned how to be a good team player from Ted Lasso, but Roy Kent said, "Hey man, sometimes you've got to be a douchebag ball hog. When we tell you to, you should turn into a beast." Yes, Richmond does start to score, but just before they could win their first game, Ted Lasso has another panic attack and has to leave. The other coaches don't know what to do, but Nate, the Great, comes up with a plan that no one else would have thought of, and it works great. Now that Nate is getting real attention from the media. He calls himself the Wonder by Chance. But now Ted Lasso admits that talking to Dr. Sharon might help him, even though he doesn't like psychology. He gets a lot of treatment from talking with the Diamond Dogs, a group of friends who love to talk about how they feel. But Ted Lasso acts like he's the happiest person in the world, even though he just got divorced and is hiding a lot of sadness. Dr. Sharon eventually lets Ted befriend her so he can talk about his breakup and his father's suicide when he was a child, and she helps him. Now it's time for the big game between foes Manchester City and Richmond, but it doesn't go well. They lose badly, which is especially bad for Jamie Tart because her dad is a jerk and is cheering for the other team. He comes back and starts to bother Jamie, so she has no choice but to punch the jerk dad in the face, and Roy Kent, who kind of hates him, gives him a hug in a beautiful pro moment. Now think about Ted's best friend, Coach Beard. He doesn't say much, so he's the right match for Ted's life. To get over this bad patch, he gets a full episode called Wild Adventure, in which, to make a long story short, he gets back together with his on and off love Jane. Now, think back to Trent Krim, a sports writer for The Independent. He tells Ted that Nate told someone else that Ted's stomach problem was actually a panic attack. Yes, the Wonder Kid's newfound fame has really gotten to his head. He starts to act really mean. He has been going crazy lately. When they went out as friends around the same time, he actually kissed Keely. Jamie Tart, who used to date Keely, says he still loves her. Roy Kent used to kill him for things like this, but Jamie is trying to be a better person. He says he's sorry, and Roy tries to be a better person. He lets him go. And remember, that is one of the best things about this show. Ted Lasso has taught everyone to deal with their problems like adults instead of acting stupid to create drama that isn't necessary. Even though their last game isn't going well, it's a great example of how to live. Nate, the Great, just doesn't fit in with the rest of the team. Ted goes after him. Hey dude, let's talk about it. But Nate has completely turned to the bad side and now says that Ted takes all the credit. But the team is still in Ted Lasso mode, which is good. And when it comes down to Denny Rojas's last kick, he has gotten over his fear of killing dogs by accident. And the team wins, they get back into the Premier League. But Nate isn't happy about their win. He actually leaves the team. It turns out that Rebecca's ex-husband, Winker, just bought our rival team and hired him as the head coach. She couldn't be anyone else but Darkside Nathan. Will Nate go back to being the kind person he used to be? Or has Darth Wonder Kid taken over? Find out in the 3rd season of Ted Lasso. If you like this summary, click the follow button to get more of the best TV and movie summaries.